Hey, problem solvers. Welcome to Module 4. It's me again, sorry. You might have been expecting someone else, but nope, still got me. Ah, okay, so Module 4, let's get right into it because I have no idea how long this is going to take. I'm hoping I can get it through one take, which will be a first. All right, so we're going to be doing a lit review, and I'll get into that in a little while. I guess I wanted to mention research generally as a academic endeavor. We're going to be using the word research so much here, obviously, in this course. And I can't remember if I gave you guys that reading. I probably didn't because my first time through, but I've gone through a reading teaching a class like this before, and it talked about, what academic research is. And I know I mentioned this a while ago that it adds something to the body of knowledge in that particular field or fields, right? So it's not the same as researching a new car, researching a trip, things like that. The way we use that word, it's fine, okay? When we come to university academic level research, it's always trying to discover, it's trying to add, it's trying to keep that ball of knowledge rolling down farther and farther, okay? Which is why in the 70s when I went to high school, we loved blissfully ignorant smoking our cigarettes, and until the last step to walk into school, we flicked it out, and then we take a break later. We were blissfully ignorant, but guess what? Science and social change changed that to now when I go and teach in a high school, I joke with them about how I said, just like you guys today, we used to just sit around and smoke our cigarettes, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's so gross. And I said, see the difference that 40, 50 years makes on us, okay? So social change happens, and a lot of times it's research and science, and then combined with the social change activism, things like that. All right. So I remember, and I said, as a college student, I was in my 50s. Okay, just a young kid on campus. Oh, those days. I remember I did my first class presentation in a human rights class, and as they called me up, I walked up from the middle. I don't think the kids even realized I was a student. I thought I was an administrator, just observing the class from the back. And I walked up and I kind of mumbled. I said, "Well, yep, it's a creepy old guy from the back." And one of the gals, she goes, "We don't think he is a creepy old guy." She said, "Just don't be the creepy old guy in the dorms." I'm like, "Oh no, not at all." I had a son living in the dorms at the time. Anyways, those are fun days. But I'm saying when I did this, I did research back then. A couple of research projects I took on. One was recently resettled refugees and the concept of the American dream. Because what's the American dream? I can ask 20 of you, well, I can ask the 3 of you that are going to watch this, and you'll have 3 different answers, okay? Everybody has a different conception what it is. We might pretty much be similar in some of it, but overall it's different. And I wanted to do some research. I broke somebody research rules. I didn't know it because I was doing it between semesters. I'm going to get a jump on this. I was working in the resettled refugee community. I headed out to a church on a Sunday, a couple of weeks, where I knew that Sudanese refugees, ex-Sudanese refugees, would go to church there, and I waited for them to come out. A lot of them knew me already because I've been in the community working as a mentor and an educator and such. And I would have a whole bunch of clipboards and pens and these questionnaires, and I'd pass them out to the men because the women had to stay on the other side, kind of. And eventually I got some women to do it. And I asked them questions to rate these different categories of the conception of the American dream. And then when I was displaying my art at Phoenix First Fridays, I would bring along a bunch of my surveys, and I would ask anyone. That was my random sample, was anybody that came in to my booth. And I probably broke rules because I said, I'll give you $5 off any piece I have here if you fill it out. Totally bad. But I didn't know that. I was so ignorant. But they would fill it out. So here I had my stack of random samples of people from Canada to Florida to everywhere, and every demographic, old, young. And then I had a sampling of surveys from recently resettled refugees from Sudan. And they had within them certain demographics, but I was able to get a conception then of the American dream. What did this group think it was, and what did this group? And the differences were striking in some ways, okay? For this group, the random number one priority was a job. That was a job, okay? Get work. That was it. And then after that was like a house, a car, et cetera, et cetera. This group, number one by far, was education. Education. That was a big sell because everything else on the list they felt was going to come if they got the first one, education. So it was a research project I did on my own, but you can see this way, and it helped us develop courses for them in the different communities that we worked. And so in a sense, it was problem solving for social change. And so what we're doing here, I want you to think about is to make sure you're thinking about it in terms of what you can do, right? All right, point to yourself right now. Point to yourself, all right? How many are going like this? How many are going like this? Okay, point to yourself. We all use our brains, but that's not a good look. Point to yourself. We're always in here. It's in our heart. I don't know why I threw that in there, but we're looking at what you can do, okay? I don't want you to point and say, I got this nice little plan here to solve this big problem, and I just need somebody else to do it. If they would just listen to me. No, let's think about what we can do to get off the sidelines and get in the game and do things that promote social change. Now, to start doing that in terms of our research, we're going to be looking at a literature review, okay? And in this module, you're going to, my recommendation, I'm going to tell you, it's because it's pretty simple, and I wish I could just kind of show you on my computer. You're doing a lit review. It says find 4 sources, okay? There's one way I want you to do this. That's the best way. If you want to be the most efficient, I'm going to give you the secret. You go to Shapiro Library. You know what that is, right? That's the SNHU Library, Shapiro Library, okay? You go to the search bar for it, right? And you select something, okay? Let's just select systemic racism, for example, okay? And it's probably going to come up with a default for electronic full text. If that's what happens, I don't know what happened to me here. I timed out or something. Let's see if I can get it again. Systemic racism. Okay, let's take a look. Search. Would you hold, please? We're having trouble with the internet. Just hate that. It always happens. Okay, here it is. No, it's gonna, okay, so it's gonna show me, it could show you on the left side of the column, you'll see current search, okay? I've got 32,019 results under systemic racism, okay? Obviously that's a lot. This is general look at that term. These are electronic full text, so you can see it online. You're not taking a flight to southern New Hampshire to get the book out of the library, right? Now, there's another thing you can click on. Peer-reviewed, scholarly, so important. Please do that. Because now you have got some good sources. Peer-reviewed. That means what these are typically are reports, research studies that have been published. They've been developed, submitted to a peer of experts in that particular field. The it'll get peer reviewed by all of them, and they'll decide, is this thing worthy or is this not worthy? So you know when it's peer reviewed, you got something, okay? Now I'm down to 14,382. Obviously still a lot, but if you scan some of these, whatever topic is, start looking at what's the indirect topic, like systemic racism in communication sciences. Accepting our historical responsibility, implication in systemic racism, undoing structural racism, older adult, perceptions of, okay, so as you can see, there's different offshoots of it. Maybe you have yours already. Keep an open mind, all right? Because you could find something new here that really is striking to you, all right? I'd like you to consider it. That's how you search for these sources. I don't want .coms. Hello. Don't know .coms. Stay away from .orgs. I don't want anecdotal. I don't want, back at ASU, I had someone use their grandmother as a source. I had someone use themselves as a source. Do not use yourself as a source. Okay, seriously. They had a citation and everything. Me, 22, 20. Okay, anyways. So you're going to be doing that for your literature review, all right? So you're going to look, what you're going to look for is previous attempts at addressing an opportunity for social change, what you're looking at. The potential strategies to address an opportunity for social change, okay? And why, okay, so this means you can, you'll find describe previous attempts, okay, evaluate potential strategies, recommend a possible strategy. Okay, you're going to look and see what those experts and those academics before you encountered when it came to the social issue that you're looking at, okay? Because remember, it's problem solving for social change. Very important. Not problem identification for us to complain about. Not problem analysis to point to somebody else to do something. It's problem solving for social change. That's what we can do, okay? You're going to learn a lot about that in this module, okay? There's a page in Module 4 called Social Issues and Activism, where you're going to see that what is the difference between a social issue and social change, okay? Along with the historical context, different theoretical approaches and methodologies can also help identify and contextualize many different social issues. This is where we get into the fact that a lot of people, because nature of it, we chose topics that were humongous, right? That could overwhelm us in an avalanche of ideas and dynamics and all kinds of things. So how do we do this? How do academics do it? They many times look at it through a lens of particular theories. It could be feminist theory, right? Looking at an issue through feminist theory and analyzing, and then working within the methodologies that they've used. Critical race theory. Sorry, don't want to trip anybody there, but it's a real thing. It's a good thing. It was developed. It's meant for this level of academics, not for middle schools or primary schools. Critical race theory looks at dynamics through race, right? And tell me, so many of our issues that we've chosen have to deal with race in some way, right? Okay. So there's different ones. I mean, I'm going through like the provocative ones. There's queer theory. There's, but there's also, anthropological theories. There's social social studies. I can't think of things right now. Theories. Each discipline has their own way of looking at something through a lens. So that may help you too, okay? So therefore, social change is the constructing of an action or a set of actions to address, modify, or replace an existing social issue with new behavior, cultural practices, or even legal action. Both historical context and theoretical analysis help people who wish to enact social change, okay? So historical context, looking at the problem, slavery, okay, up until 1860s, right? And then addressing for new behavior, all the fighting and, that abolition that came with that, changing cultural practices. There was a civil war, okay? There was legal action, there was civil action. And then in 1863, Lincoln gave the Emancipation Proclamation, right? And then it took till 1865, June 19th, to reach Texas, the last slaves that did not hear that they were free a year and a half earlier or so. And that's why we have Juneteenth Day, people, just so you know. Okay, so it's important, all right? And as much as this is a research project, I'm going to pull back a little bit, and I'm going to call this a social change project, because I want to make sure your focus is on social change here, okay? You're going to see a problem, and it might PISS you off, but unless you can contextualize it, analyze it, and present solutions, it's nothing but, it's nothing but what we see today on social media, right? So we're stepping up our game here. All right. And then look for gaps in research. What's missing that you think of maybe? don't discount your own thoughts on this. Don't overblow them. Don't discount them, okay? You have value as an academic, as someone considering a particular topic and a problem, all right? Make sure you look at the videos and the readings that are up there today. There's a really good video short on how to use research to recommend a strategy. There is a reading on from ProQuest on, it's gonna expired already. Oh, selecting, analyzing, keeping notes of sources. And what you do when you find sources, you look at these reports, these textbooks, these scholarly articles. What I would always do is I would flag and save whichever ones look like they could be good for me, right? I wouldn't go through them right then. I'd save them. Then I'd get my list of the ones I'd saved. I go back in and I open each one up, look at a table of contents. Is something in there that works for me? Eliminate the ones that don't. And so eventually I'd get like 10 that would work really well or something. So, hey, impress yourself, not me. Get a lot of sources. The more sources you have and the more sources you cite in your paper to reflect upon, to use to help guide your study, the better off your study will be. I guarantee it, okay? And then there's another video that's a little corny, how to do a lit review. And that one at least resonates with the, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, okay? I'm still not even, doggone it. I got logged out. All right, so, and this is, so you're gonna conduct research on your project topic. Read this, just read it. I know you guys can read, okay? You've proven that to me many times. Some of you don't view videos though, I guess. That's, again, it's your option. I had an option to pay my light bill and look what happened, my lights are still on. Okay, remember you'll need at least 4 sources. Disregard lower, it says you have to have 1. You need 4 sources. Remember that you will need at least 4 sources that represent diverse perspectives to support your project in this course. Use this opportunity to support your assignment with evidence. Okay, this is very important. Use the feedback that you will receive, I guess from me, on the sources to help you decide which sources to use for your project. Be sure to cite all sources using APA style. Come on, you can do it. All right, so there's a specific rubric that you can look at to make sure you have everything covered, right? And I think you'll be fine. Now, I scored all of Module 3 work, looking good. We're honing in on these issues and articulate them quite well. Some of you are really almost experts in your fields already, which is so refreshing. Others are taking on new challenges, which is also wonderful. And, you know, the rest of us, we're not showing off. We're not falling behind. We're right there. So great job overall. Continue to contact me if you want to set up a call. I've had at least a half a dozen of them already, and I would say they're very productive, very congenial. What does that mean? Well, I guess it means, I take my time to look that up, but I'm not gonna. And all right, so that's about it. It's 104 degrees in Phoenix. Sucks, but wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day and a good start to this short week, even though we work online, so it doesn't matter, right? We do school online. It's not like we got a holiday, right? That's about it. So take care and peace.